Ceruto, try it again. Fans on the feet, 6,000 in attendance. The payoff is flied into right field, going back at the warning track, at the wall. It's gone! Go ahead, 3-run home run for the senior. Peter Ceruto has given the Indiana Hoosiers the lead.
Indiana baseball defeated the George Mason Patriots 9-3 on Sunday, finishing second out of the 4 teams at the Baseball at the Beach tournament with a 2-1 record on the weekend, behind only number 12 Duke. Centerfielder Carter Mathison and first baseman AJ Shepard each had home runs. The victory was sealed with a 9-out save by Julian Tonghini. After the game, the media met with Mathison, Tonghini, and head coach Jeff Mercer.
Yeah, I feel great, very comfortable out there, and I'm excited by that.
And how did it feel as far as taking charge out there? We see you didn't really have an issue with it, calling people off. You went and got everything.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. When it goes up in the air, I want to be there, and I want to catch it. So I like the pressure, and I like taking charge, so I enjoy it.
How'd you feel at the plate?
Felt good. Just got to see the off-speed better, and I know what I need to do this weekend, and I'll get better.
You kind of got a glimpse of the power production we expect to see from this team all year long, but
yeah.
You got it going fucking time, and 3 home runs today as a team, I don't know, but how much of a weapon do you think that piece is for this club?
Yeah, it's definitely a weapon, just shows, the strength that we have, and, obviously, trying to hit home runs, but, when we're hitting hard line drives, eventually they'll go, so it shows a lot.
This outfield group that you guys have, we're talking about how deep it is.
Yeah.
Freshmen in there, and it's like, guys will be playing every day, in a different spot.
Yeah.
What have you seen out of those younger kids?
Yeah, Wiggs is going to be a great player, and the outfield group is it's a special one this year. But the young guys, they look awesome. Once they get their shot, they're going to take full advantage of it. I've seen it all fall, I've seen it all winter, and they're going to do good.
Cool. Can you talk a little bit about just how you're reading the from center field, how you're reading the bat off the ball?
Yeah, I don't really think too much of it. I just see it off the bat and go catch it, pretty much. Keep it simple.
Okay.
And maybe just one thing about the arms. Each game started out with 3, 4 shutout innings. Being out there behind them, that's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, definitely. The pitching staff's been doing great. So, when they're dealing like that, it just gives me more, pushes me more in the outfield to go save some hits for them, and give them what they deserve.
Several solid innings, including a shutdown inning. What was kind of working in your assortment today?
Yeah, so I had the curveball working pretty early on. Once I started to settle down, I was able to get ahead in a couple counts and just make really competitive pitches.
Is that primarily 2-seam that you work with?
It's a 4-seam. So I throw the 4-seam and then a curveball, slider, and a changeup.
Okay. And you kind of seem to be mixing that. I think the changeup was more kind of in the middle inning. Is that right?
Yeah, primarily starting guys off with the curveball and then beating them with the fastball and then slider. But a lot of curveball, a lot of heavy spin.
Yeah. And you kind of went more to the fastball towards the end, right?
Yeah. Towards the end, once they started seeing the spin, then it was time to start throwing the heater and throwing it up in the zone.
Yeah.
Bullpen, the whole pitching staff really pretty encouraging first weekend pitch today.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. We have a lot of guys and we put in a ton of work, and Glenn has done a great job teaching us how to attack hitters. So it's just that preparation. We're reaping the benefits right now.
You think about these young kids in the rotation, and kind of maybe that was the question mark from outside the program heading in, is how's that young pitching going to materialize? What have you seen out of that group?
Yeah, so far what we've seen is a lot of guys attacking hitters, and that is the biggest thing. Is how can we attack? How well can we attack? How well can we spin the ball in the zone? And that's what we've been doing. So it's been really exciting.
Well, overall, what just are your feelings on the overall weekend? What did you gain from what did you learn from this team this weekend?
A wide variety of games, right? Where you've got pitchers duels, you've got opportunities offensively to pull away, and you don't. You've got late inning games. I think all 3 of them. You're in the 7th inning in a close game. You have to find a way to win it late. We didn't do it on Friday. We did it yesterday. We did it today. You were able to get a lot of different guys in the ball game offensively, and that's a big goal for us. We've always played so many young guys, and so getting those young guys in, getting some different experience, getting guys in different spots, is critically important to figure out kind of what you've got and where guys can fill in at. We were able to get some different guys on the mound. I thought they performed really well. We had the one inning all weekend where we had freebies and it kind of made it a mud fight there. But outside of that, we performed on the mound. We executed. The guys had to pitch. Stuff was down a little bit today. It's a cold day. Stuff was a little bit light, and so now you got to be able to pitch and manage. And offensively we weren't great today, and so again you have to find a way to manage a little bit and find yourself in a game where you don't want to be kind of persevering late. And so we ever do all those things. So you get a lot of different experiences, and sometimes baseball is an ugly game. Sometimes it's a beautiful game. It doesn't really matter what you think of it. You got to go out there and find a way to win late, and we were able to do that. So, in totality, to come out of here 2-1 and play 3 really good games, I don't think you can ask for anything more. We played clean defense for the most part. Made one or two routine errors that you would like to see cleaned up, but we also made some great plays too. And so, if we can get a little bit cleaner on some of the routine stuff, and then continue to make some of the splash plays defensively, attack on the mound and get some more guys in. We've got several more talented arms that didn't really have a spot to get them in, but the midweek game this week will be a really big opportunity for us to find out how much more depth we have. I think there's a couple of guys that are going to be good for us. So in totality, just a really good weekend.
You kind of mentioned the opportunity to get some young guys and look, and obviously Wiggins,
Benchowski.
Joey B.
They sure look the part. Got some good at bats today. What have you seen out of those guys leading up to this? And how, I know you've got a veteran team, and a lot, especially in the outfield. Like, how are those guys, do you think, going to fit in?
They're very talented. Joey redshirted last year and then broke his wrist in the fall on a similar play as today at first base against Notre Dame. And so he's been a great bat to ball guy, switch hitter, trying to find a defensive spot for him. Started as a middle infielder, has done some outfield and some first base. So he's a pro hitter. I mean, he's going to be a guy that's going to be a great player for us, either it's now or into the future. So you want to know what you got and get him in there and expose him a little bit. Obviously Andrew Wiggins is a really high-profile kid, really talented kid. He was great today. Came in off the bench, first pitch he sees doubles, then goes 0-2 to a walk. Cal Sefcik came in with an injury and missed most of the fall, but he had a good preseason, so he got in there today as well. Obviously Shepard showed well over the course of the week, another freshman. And so you're able to get those guys in. But yeah, Joey B and Andrew are both guys that need to be rotational pieces for us, if not consistent mainstays later in the year, once everything kind of gets settled. But they've had good at-bats. Joey is a really high bat-to-ball guy. And doesn't strike out much. I know it wasn't a good first at-bat, but he really is a high bat-to-ball guy. And then Andrew's super talented. So both of those guys have shown flashes of being really good. And so getting them in and letting them play a little bit, it's kind of our thing. We're built on getting young guys in and letting young guys play. And so we can't ever get away from that completely, regardless of how old we are. We have to find shots to get those guys in and let them grow up and play.
And Brock behind the plate, first game out there. I threw out the runner at second. Seemed real comfortable with a few different arms that pitch.
Brock has been primarily catching for the fall, and then almost all catching in the winter, just to prepare him in case there's an injury. Right, there's an injury or something happens to where he has to become the primary guy, kind of like you did with Pete. If he never feels what it's like to catch, 3 days in a row, if he never feels what it's like to get back there for a month or 6 weeks, then he's not really prepared. Right, you kind of feel like it's a part-time gig, and he has to see what it feels like to be an everyday guy. Whether it's for us or it's at the next level, he's got the ability to catch. He has a great arm. He's smart. He's big and physical, and he's just so talented. He's capable of being a catcher at a very, very high level. It's just the experience of getting back into it. But I thought he did great. For your first time out, first time doing it. After the big game last night, right? The emotions are high. It's a short turnaround, quick turnaround. You're going from playing first the last 2 days to going back and catching on Sunday morning. I thought he did really well considering all the different elements. He's got 3 different arms out there, a bunch of different pitch packages, and so you got guys with cutters and then guys with splitters, and then Julian's got the great breaking balls, both of them. So he blocked really well. He had one chance to throw and threw well with it. Got a leadoff guy out at second base. So I thought overall it was a really good day from Brock behind the plate, and he's gonna have to manage the offensive side with catching at the same time. That's always the hard part, right? You can't take your offense to your defense, or your defense to your offense. You're trying to remember, scouting reports and pitch plans and pitch packages and who's in the bullpen and who's coming in next, and oh yeah, I have to go hit fourth, and I'm one of the best hitters on the team. It's just it's a whole new world for him. But if anybody's capable of doing it, it's a guy like him that's as talented of a player as there is in the country, and also as intelligent of a player. So he'll be able to process it, and he'll put it together, and he'll go and do well with it.
It might be too soon, but any update with AJ?
Just that kind of a left arm injury right now is all I've been told. And so we'll find out. He's at the hospital right now and taking a look at it. So we'll know more in the next 24 hours or so. But that's what they told me at the end of the game.
Thanks, Coach.
Oh, you're one more. Just, easy to take Mathison for granted. I think he's been so productive for so long. But, again, another home run today. Looked good in center field too. Right? What did you just like his evolution as a player where he is now?
Yeah, he like most Midwest outfielders, the defense is kind of the tool that's the furthest behind. They have less repetitions, and they're just not out there as much doing it. And so, he was behind defensively coming out of high school, and was behind defensively last year. Really through no fault of his own. It's a typical. I coached outfield for 10 years, and it's very, very normal for those guys to take a little bit longer to transition. But I think that's probably the thing that I've seen him evolve the most with is he's become a good center fielder, and he wasn't a year ago. And so I say that with all due credit to the hard work that you have to put in to do that, and to Zach Rutherford, the outfield coach, who's worked with him day in and day out to get there. So, I even saw him call off Morgan on the ball in right center today, and Morgan's a great defender, and I kind of chuckled, how far we've come to where he's going into right field and calling the ball off from Morgan, and a guy's confident when he does that. So, yeah, you're right. He's been a very productive player from day one here, and so it's easy to take a guy for granted, although you try never to do that because he is a special talent, and he won't be here forever. So, just like today, you have first and second and nobody out, and there's a moment that you can sack bunt there in a close game, and you say, we're going to trust our great players to have a great at-bat, and he did. He came through. I joked with him afterwards and said, thanks for making me look smart, because that could have been back-to-back innings, first and second, nobody out, and we don't bunt, and it could have been bad. But no, he's a hard-working kid. He's evolved so much defensively, and he's had the power. His freshman year, he had a bunch of homers. And then the sophomore year was more of a hit man. He wanted to kind of put to bed the idea that he wasn't able to be a complete hitter. And then you're kind of seeing the evolution of all of that come together, where I'm not just a power guy and then not just a hit tool guy. I can do both and play center field, and maybe still some bases along the way. So he's really done a great job of surrounding himself and being a complete player.
Indiana welcomes Miami of Ohio to Bloomington on Tuesday at 4 p.m. for the home opener, which is free and open to the public. See you at the BART.